This is Thailand in the rainy season. Blue skies one minute, tropical downpours the next. If you come in here, you need to be ready and prepared for both. So if you're thinking about traveling to Thailand during the rainy season, you've probably heard mixed opinions. Some say to avoid it completely, where others say it's the best time to come and the weather is perfect. I've been living in Thailand for the past 7 years now. I've experienced quite a few rainy seasons, and here's what I've learned. The answer isn't a simple yes or no. It depends on how you want to travel and what exactly you want out of your trip. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the real pros and cons of visiting Thailand during the rainy season, not the myths, so you can decide whether it actually makes sense for you without the guesswork. Okay, so the rainy season or the monsoon season usually runs in Thailand from May to the end of October. And let's get the biggest question straight out of the way. How much does it rain here? And honestly, not as much as you think. So one thing people don't really talk about is what rainy season feels like day to day. So most mornings will start warm and bright. You know, you go out, you do your thing, you might even forget that it's rainy season. And then usually in the afternoon, you'll get this heavy downpour, and then as quickly as it starts, it stops. It's not constant rain, it's more like short, intense bursts of rain. And honestly, some of the best sunsets in Thailand happen right after a rainstorm. So there's a big misconception about the monsoon season here in Thailand, that it rains non-stop for days without any sunshine at all. And trust me, that's not the case. And while the weather can be unpredictable during these summer months, a lot of the days are still warm and bright, especially in the beginning of the rainy season. Instead of constant rain, it's heavy downpours that come and go. And when it does rain, it often lasts for about an hour or two instead of ruining your whole day. Once you understand the pattern, the rainy season feels far less intimidating. It's more about timing and flexibility over bad weather. Okay, before going any further, it's worth knowing that the wettest months in Thailand vary depending on where you are in the country. It's important to know that rainy season doesn't feel the same everywhere in Thailand. Bangkok handles the rain pretty well, transport still runs, life still goes on, and there's always something to do indoors, but with rain comes very heavy traffic. So in Bangkok, the rainiest period is usually September and October. And these months tend to have the most consistent rainfall every year. But when it does come, they come in short, heavy bursts rather than all day, and September is the rainiest in Bangkok. In Chiang Mai, the wettest months are typically August and September. Rain can be heavier during this time, especially in the afternoons and the evenings. But it also cools the air and it turns everywhere super green, which is a bonus. But when it comes to the wet season in coastal areas, the islands feel it more. Especially when the sea gets rough, this can affect boat trips and beach days. In Phuket, the wettest months are usually September and October. And of course, these months, the seas can be the roughest, so make sure you plan your boat trips very carefully during around this time. And then there's Koh Samui, which is an outlier. Samui's rainiest months are usually October and November, and this is later than the most of Thailand, with November being the wettest month in Koh Samui. And this is why Samui can actually be drier when other parts of the country are deep in their rainy season. So as you can see, timing really matters here. So a massive benefit of traveling in the rainy season is the fact that it'll be a lot more affordable. And one reason the rainy season isn't as big as a problem as most people think is because Thailand is built for it. Malls, cafes, gyms, co-working spaces, everything is designed for heat and rain. Even on wet days, life doesn't stop, it just moves indoor for a couple of hours. And like I mentioned, the rainy season means lower prices in Thailand. This means better prices on flights, on hotels, and more affordable deals. So I had a trip to Koh Samui last year. I stayed around Chalong area. I think I paid around $40 per night, which was in September. And the same hotel during high season would cost at least double that. And this is exactly the type of perspective I want you guys to know when you're booking your flights, your hotels, your activities during the rainy season. Meaning, if you really wanted to travel for longer on a smaller budget, you could. Even during the high season, some hotels will never have 100% occupancy. Just take the wet season, for example. You can just imagine how many empty rooms are in that hotel. I mean, you could go get yourself some amazing deals. Unlike the high season where you might need to book months and months in advance, the wet season gives you flexibility. Now, a couple of years ago, I went to the south of Thailand and I purchased a boat trip. And this was a private boat trip to one of these smaller islands. You know, we're talking white sands, crystal turquoise water, and absolute insanely beautiful views. Now, I purchased a 4-hour private longtail boat. This included multiple islands, beaches, caves, snacks were included, bottles of water too. And I paid 1,800 baht, which is roughly around 55 USD. But during the dry season, that same trip would have costed at least 2,500 to 3,000 baht. Same route, same stops, just a completely different price, and I can see what I mean. And it's circumstances like this where the rainy season quietly wins. You know, on top of that, popular viewpoints which are usually packed with tourists are then calm during the rainy season. Especially when you're standing somewhere, you've got a beautiful sunset and there's no crowds rushing to take pictures, pushing each other, barging shoulders. That's a completely different experience during the rainy season. And honestly, it can make your trip even more special. Oh my God, it's crazy, look at this. To figure out if you should visit Thailand during the rainy season, I'm gonna ask you 2 questions. The first one is, how long are you traveling for? If your time is limited, let's say you've got around 2 weeks. Your main goal is sunshine and outdoor activities every single day, then you're probably better waiting off for the dry season. Because the weather can be hard to predict, and if you're after those sunny days, that's a big element of risk there. And like I mentioned, it normally rains for just an hour or 2, but there could be many days where it doesn't actually rain at all, but it's just constantly cloudy. But if you don't plan on visiting a beach or doing much outdoor activities, then visiting during the rainy season shouldn't be too much of an issue. Take for example Bangkok. Bangkok works in all weather. There's an endless amount of things to do indoors, and you're always connected by the MRT Underground and the BTS SkyTrain. So you're rarely caught out in the rain for long. Infinite malls, cafes, gyms, co-working spaces, cinemas, museums. The city doesn't slow down just because it rains. In fact, some days feel easier because it's cooler and it's less hectic. And Bangkok is also far less dependent on tourism in comparison to the beach destinations. So Bangkok always feels alive regardless of the season. Even nightlife is unaffected. Clubs, bars, live music places, they're just as busy and people just wait for the rain to pass. So if your trip is more about food, culture, city life and experiences, rather than the perfect beach weather, then visiting during the rainy season can actually work in your favor. Now, the second question, what type of traveler are you? Rainy season works best for certain types of travelers. We're talking people on longer trips, slow travelers, budget travelers, and remote workers, and anyone who's happy to adjust their plans day by day instead of rushing. Let's say, for example, you're a fast-paced traveler, you know, the one that likes to hop between places every 3 nights. You try to squeeze as much as you can into your Thailand trip. Well, for that type of person, the rainy season can be very, very frustrating. When your schedule is tight and everything is planned around moving, sightseeing, and outdoor activities, even small weather disruptions start to matter. Just think, rain can delay boats, push your tours back, or force you to change your plans right on the spot. And when you're constantly on the move, you might actually not have that flexibility to wait it out. That's why fast-paced trips tend to work better in the dry season. That's because the conditions during this season are much more predictable. If, for example, on the other hand, you're comfortable slowing things down and staying for longer, rainy season becomes much easier to enjoy. But for rapid, packed itineraries, it's usually not the perfect fit. Listen to me when I say this. If you come to Thailand during the rainy season, the rain will disrupt your plans once or on a few occasions, so be prepared for this. So here's 3 tips that I'm gonna give you. First, get yourself some flip-flops or Crocs. If you're outside and it's heavy rain and you're wearing normal shoes, good luck. Second, many hotels will let you borrow an umbrella for free if you just ask them nicely. And thirdly, if you get caught in the rain without a rain jacket, go to your nearest 7-Eleven. You can get a cheap poncho or rain jacket there. There's always probably a 7-Eleven nearby because there's over 15,000 7-Elevens in Thailand. One thing that makes the rainy season much easier is packing properly. And honestly, you don't need anything extreme, but lightweight, quick drying clothing makes a huge difference. When it rains, humidity goes up, so heavy fabrics feel uncomfortable very quickly. Breathable tops and shorts that dry fast will save you a lot of hassle. And like I mentioned, footwear matters too. If you've got flip-flops or Crocs, that will save the day, because if you're wearing shoes and they get wet, it could take like 2 days to dry. And you can pack a lightweight jacket just in case, or if you don't want to do that, you can just go to 7-Eleven and get one of these cheap rain jackets or ponchos. If you're serious about coming to Thailand, especially Bangkok, I've got more videos right here that go deeper into that. And subscribe if you want honest guides like this. I'll see you in the next one.